This episode is brought to you by the Regional Air Quality Council. Because it's summertime and everyone needs to do their part. So ditch your commute and work from home to reduce ground level ozone. Or maybe it's time to take advantage of all those new rebates and incentives from the state to go electric with your lawn and garden equipment or even your car. Ozone is the Front Range's biggest air quality issue and a leading cause of respiratory problems. And it's created from pollutants like car exhaust. Sign up for summer ozone alerts by texting Better Air CO to 21000 or visit simplestepsbetterair.org. That's simplestepsbetterair.org. This episode is brought to you by Friends of Chamber Music. If you're not familiar with chamber music, it's an intimate form of classical music performed by soloists or small ensembles. And for 70 years, Friends of Chamber Music has sought out the most talented performers around the world and brought them to perform here in Denver. Check out the full concert schedule at friendsofchambermusic.com and experience Denver's classical music scene for yourself. But it gets better. For this week only, we offer CityCast Denver listeners a special 20% discount on single tickets. Please use the code FCMST20 on the promotions tab on the ticketing page. That's FCMST20. Learn more at the link in our show notes or visit friendsofchambermusic.com today. Today on CityCast Denver, Colfax Week continues. And what would a night on Colfax be without a stop at Pete's Kitchen? The iconic Greek/Mexican/classic diner has been a staple of Denver's beleaguered late night scene for more than 30 years. But new competition is coming. So I've got my friend, artistic director for the C Film Center, Keith Garcia, on to talk about how Denver might become a true 24/7 city. Today is Thursday, July 18th. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. Keith Garcia, welcome back to CityCast Denver.
So glad to be back, Bree.
So let's start with the news. There's two places in Denver that have recently made this sort of risky decision to stay open later at night. And there's two. So Rosenberg's Bagels is now offering this very specific burger sliders menu, and they're calling it Rosenburgers. They're open late, but they're doing it as a sort of a pop-up shop till Labor Day. And I think they're trying to just sort of try it out. And then Little India on 6th Avenue, their 6th Avenue location, is opening 24/7, which is wild to me. What did you think about those two sort of recent moves?
I want to steer away from, like, I hope, let's use positive phrases here, because I think risky makes it sound dangerous.
Yeah.
And I want it
to
be admirable.
Yeah.
Because Jesus effing Christ, the late night food options in this city are abysmal. For a city, I mean, mind you, we're not freaking LA or whatever.
Right.
But God damn it.
Well,
we have a lot of hungry people late at night. Just even after 9 freaking p.m. Sorry, I'm cursing a whole lot.
It's like you are angry about this.
I feel like the pandemic did, so much damage to late night eateries. Obviously, we know what's happened to all the diners in Denver, and I think that was they were all sliding down scale anyway, and then the pandemic just
the pandemic put a lot of stuff into hyperdrive that maybe was like, I'm thinking about even just not even late nights, but like Rosemary Cafe. I mean, that guy just, I think, wanted to retire. Yeah. But in the process of the pandemic making everything harder, we lost a bunch of these late night spots. And so I thought that these two stories were interesting, though, because they're trying something out of their existing business, right? And I think it gives us some more options. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today with you, is like, you and I are both people looking for late night diners, especially after shows, after movies. And it was like, how do we find the ones that do exist so we can talk about them so people know? Because I think people may just not know what's available.
Exactly. I think that's the thing. I've been kind of tracking over the last year when something pops up that's like, oh, we're open till 3. There was I forget the name of the ramen shop that was right across from X Bar, and it was sort of where underneath that little gay club next to the Office Depot or whatever.
Yeah, and that we were really excited about that being open
and they
late.
Moved all the way down over by the sea, which of course I'm looking for things to be open late over by the sea all the time. And then they were like, we're open till 3 a.m. every night. And then after maybe like 2 months, I started to see, you couldn't tell, like some days they wouldn't be open.
They were slowly maybe going.
They were just realizing that I think their whole business wasn't getting what they needed to, or they didn't have the money to advertise. And I think like people have to be kind of loud about it.
Yeah.
Which why I was glad that like I got a text message from Little India. I happened to be on their like text.
I'm that way with Kokoro. I get it.
Yeah. And I was like 24/7. Amazing. So I haven't been there yet since they made this announcement, and I'm hoping they're offering their like buffet late at night.
I mean, I think if they saw enough business, they would.
Because Lord knows that when the pandemic took away that lunchtime buffet from Little India, which I think is back now only recently. That was one of the amazing things that we all loved and took for granted for many years.
I know.
And so to have that as a late night option, I would be there most nights. If that was the
Well, I mean, thinking of that, do you have any favorites that you can count on that you go to right now?
No.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Because I did a little research for us.
Well, and here's the thing too, is I was recently in Chicago, and I had this moment where I was like, I felt this intense shame for Denver, Colorado. It was a Monday night. It was in Chicago for a conference, and it was 10 p.m. and me and my coworker at the conference got caught in a thunderstorm, and then we're like, oh gosh, where do we go from here? We were going to walk around. And I said, oh, we should eat something. Let's go see if Pequod's Pizza is open, was my like question.
Pizza.
I was like, oh, they're open. And Pequod's is this famous Chicago style deep dish pizza place that I had been there once before, and I thought their dining room was just like one kind of like a decent sized building, plenty of tables in this like a long kind of dining room. But they always ask you, do you have a reservation? And even at 10:30 p.m. they're like, do you have a reservation
on a Monday night?
Monday? Do you have a reservation? And we're like, no. And they kind of looked at us for a second. They're like, okay, we have a space. And it wasn't in the main dining room, which is what I thought was the extension. We went upstairs, and there was a whole upstairs area that went the length of the building, and every table was full at 10:30 p.m. on a Monday in Chicago for deep dish pizza that takes like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's not a quick thing.
But everyone was just doing their thing.
Yeah.
There was some kind of sports game. Maybe it was it the Stanley Cup was that night? Anyway, which that was on some TVs, but it's not like everyone is packed because of that.
It was like this was what diners wanted at 10 p.m. on a Monday night.
And Pequod's was like, this is just what it is on Mondays at 10 p.m.
I think we could have that here if there were just more options.
Exactly. And I mean, I guess that's the thing is we got familiarized with the notion that there was always a diner open late.
Yeah.
Until
Denver Diner, Tom's Diner,
yeah,
Breakfast King.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think like Breakfast King was the last one that like it literally moved our food dish when it closed, because we were like, where do we go? Where the hell are we going to go?
Don't know how to function.
I mean, consistency wise, like I've come into being interested in Gaia Burger.
Let's talk about that. Gaia Masala Burger, open till 3 a.m. every night of the week.
Yep.
I have not been there, but their menu is has a pretty good, it's a really interesting variety of things. What do you like about it?
My favorite thing there, well, number one, it's that it's Indian food, but it's a fusion.
Yeah.
So they're definitely applying Indian food principles over a lot of American standards.
French fries.
And so my favorite is the chicken masala cheesesteak.
Ooh.
Which is presented on a roll, chicken masala, cheese, which is always a fun thing to add in Indian food, and it's just freaking delicious. And then you also have like French fries, or whatever. They also do great Indian pizza, and other stuff, just a million of things, a burger, all that stuff. It's all about adding Indian foods and flavors and spices to American standards, and it tastes amazing. And I did, when I first went there and I saw they were open till 3, I was like, every night? Like I asked one of the servers.
Like skeptical.
And they're like, even if you come here at 2:55,
we'll serve you.
They're like, we're going to be cleaning for the next hour. So
that's
we're not going
nice.
to turn anyone away. And I was like, okay, all right.
Because I think the 3 a.m. thing is so crucial because I found a couple spots that were open till 2 a.m. There's quite a few. There's some pizza places and bars that serve food that late. But that after the bar lets out time between 2 and 3 or 2 and 4 is the kind of the hard part. So Gaia Masala Burger is one of those. Now Pho is open till 3 a.m. on the weekends. And that's obviously a South Federal staple. I think Pho is perfect. I'm actually surprised more spots aren't open.
I feel like there used to be.
Yeah, I think this is also a pre-pandemic thing.
Yeah, where there was plenty of pho places that I always felt that they almost had their own like club culture inside too. Sometimes where they're like, why go out? You can just be here.
Totally.
We'll blast your favorite Pitbull songs until
while you enjoy fun,
exactly.
And spring rolls. But so now Pho is one of those options. Another one, this is like a classic staple for me. 3 a.m. Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays is Jerusalem in DU. Again, it's a specific cuisine. It's just tried and true though to me. It always is good. I have the same dish there every time, the super combination dish every time. And I think it's also obviously for college kids. It's right in the neighborhood. But I like that it's kind of like, it's best in the summer for sure because they have these great patios, but they are open year round.
Yeah.
And
that patio is heated.
Yes, that's true.
During the wintertime too, so.
Yeah, and so if you want to make a little bit of a trek over to DU, it's kind of harder if you've been downtown, but it's not too bad. It's just straight up university. And I don't know, that's just always been, since I was in high school, that was a spot. And so they're one of the few that's still going. This episode is brought to you by the Colfax Avenue Business Improvement District. Because this weekend is Colfax's annual Independence Day, celebrating Colfax's many local independent businesses. And it's not just one day, it's a whole weekend of fun up and down East Colfax. All weekend long, more than 30 businesses and creators will be offering special goods and deals. Just look for the teal Colfax Avenue flag and mention Independence Day, and they'll hook you up. Find the flag, choose your own adventure, and make a day or a weekend of it. I'm excited about Drag Queen Story Time. Perfect on Colfax. That's where I want to see Drag Queen Story Time, amongst my people. Find all the details in our show notes and online at colfaxav.com. That's colfaxav.com. This episode is brought to you by the University of Denver. The University of Denver has launched a new executive certificate in affordable housing, which is so cool because Denver needs affordable housing and smart people to figure out how to build more of it. Participants in the program will learn all the complexities of affordable housing development and gain the practical skills necessary to work in this specialized sector. And this is a major issue in communities all across the country where housing prices are out of control. This new program from DU is for people who want to help tackle this pressing issue head on. It's designed to upskill professionals working in industries such as real estate, development, planning, law, architecture, social work, and more. But anyone with a bachelor's degree can apply. And DU is the place to go for this type of education. It's a frontrunner in academic programs focused on research and service for the public good. Courses are primarily available online with in-person intensives at the beginning and end, and they have generous scholarship opportunities to offset the program cost. Applications are due on July 31st, 2024. Apply now at du.edu/affordable housing certificate. That's du.edu/affordable housing certificate. And now, more of my conversation about Denver's best late night eats with one of my best friends, Sea Film Center's artistic director, Keith Garcia.
There's plenty of great drive-thrus. And I don't mean just like McDonald's, etc. I mean like Taco Star,
Tacos
Rapidos.
And then you can just sit in your car and eat it.
Exactly. That's kind of I always love to sit with friends and like break down, especially because it's not even just these local diners that went down. I mean, Denny's is the only like national kind of diner that's available. I mean, IHOPs have mostly closed or gone away, or they're scant and in the suburbs. Village Inns, I think they've all gone away.
It was like entirely. The last one I really knew about was in Lakewood, and it's gone. But I think you make a good point, though. There is 2 Denny's, I would say, that are 24 hours, Alameda and Santa Fe. and then Federal and like 16th.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, those are also like, you can count on them at least. So those are always options, I think. But it's like when we're talking diners, I think the best, the two that I found that are open 24/7 on the weekends are Pete's Kitchen and Great Scott's. Mm-hmm. So Pete's Kitchen is great because it's centrally located. It's right on Colfax.
And it's a staple.
It's a staple. It's the thing that I feel like I'm looking for the most when I'm looking for late night dining is a diner. And so are you a Pete's guy? Because I think it's not too far from the sea.
No, I definitely am a Pete's guy. I'm curious. I'd love to have a conversation with them about why, like, if there was a goal to include that 24/7 back into Monday through Thursday or Sunday through Thursday, because some of my best memories of going to Pete's are not on the weekends. Actually, I would avoid it. I've avoided it on the weekends because I know
it gets so crazy.
It's too crazy.
The line's like out the door.
Exactly. But Sunday night after X Bar, after Charlie's or whatever, just like, or after a beer bus, just like go there. But you want to be there after 10 p.m. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Pete's definitely worth it. Great Scott. I've never been.
Oh, you'll love it.
It's bright enough from the highway that there's no reason I shouldn't.
Do you have a go-to at Pete's? Can order?
I think at Pete's, my stomach's either at that hour being like, just get a basic breakfast, or it's like, just get a freaking breakfast burrito. But their gyro is always delicious. Like you watch it on that little, spit roaster, just kind of going all day long, and
it's got that perfect combination of what a Denver diner should have.
Exactly. And I just really, if there's one wish, if I was granted 3 wishes, one of them would definitely be, can we just put some late night eateries on Colfax?
Yeah.
Like,
it just makes the most sense to me.
I don't understand. Like, I in the business of these things, I'm sure people are like, well, you got to put them where there are people. And I'm like, there are always people on Colfax, no matter what hour. And everyone wants something. I mean, I don't know what level we've gone to where it's more about providing a place for people to come in and use the bathroom or something like that.
Totally.
Which is an understandable reason why people don't want to get into the late night concept. Is, folks that are also out at
sure
3 a.m,
absolutely,
drunk or whatever, that have no intention of actually using your business.
But I think they're usually, I'm thinking about the Denver diner, right? That was a spot where I would see that a lot, but they were so busy. Did it really matter?
No, exactly.
No, they were. I feel like their busiest time of day, because we would go there any time of day, was the after midnight to 3 or 4 a.m. And it's just like that was also, I think, location wise was perfect. So if anybody's listening, something on either end of Colfax would be nice, because Pizza's really central. And I would just say, so Great Scott's is, it's a diner. It's way more, if you're on the north side, that's an option that I go to.
Sure.
Because it's just sort of outside of the north side. And it's more of a 50s diner in that it's themed a little bit more, kind of like Gunther Tootie's was. Not quite, it doesn't go quite that hard. But if you're looking for the breakfast staples, the sandwiches, the burgers, that's the spot. And it's open, hold on one second. Yeah, it's open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 24/7.
And, ever since the announcement of Champagne Tiger taking over the Tom's Diner, Tom's Starlight spot, which with a queer angle to it, next to X Bar, I'm like, okay, y'all have to have a conversation with X Bar, and you'll have to realize that you're going to have to keep some late night hours.
It would be so nice just to have a late night spot specifically in that location. But you're right next to X Bar. It's like, it's just such a perfect spot. There's a reason that place was such a go-to.
Yeah.
And even if they have a slimmed down version of their menu or something to do those late nights, or at least on the weekends, maybe what I'm hoping, honestly, Keith, is that the Little India doing this and Rosenberger's trying it out will maybe push some other businesses, because I think we have to acknowledge too, the pandemic was really rough on local businesses and local restaurants. And so I can see where, like, if you're already struggling with staffing or costs, this is like a hard gamble. But I could see where, like, maybe if these places take a chance, other folks will say, maybe we should just try it.
Yeah,
because I would love to see. I know I'm also very intrigued by Champagne Tiger.
I'm depressed at the notion that Denverites have gone to bed hungry, or
I know, or like you just have to settle for Taco Bell, which is fine.
Or
I guess.
you don't even get to settle for Taco Bell because we know the Colfax lines are always like out the way. You're not going to wait in that line. But even just, I'm sad for those who've settled for just walking to the 7-Eleven and getting like taquitos and
nachos or
and a thing. It's like, that's not what you want. You want to have some company. You want to sit with your friends. You want to make sure that person that got really wasted is going to make it okay.
Even just a walk-up place that had a little dining area. You know, I was just in LA and there was a couple places like that where it's like you don't have to get service, but at least there's a place for you to commune afterward. Because like a lot of times, like you're saying, you want to hang out with your friends after the bar or maybe after a movie, and you want to be able to discuss. I think about how many great conversations I've had over a late night meal at Denver Diner or Tom's Diner or Pete's Kitchen, and like it's just such a special thing to be able to have. And the fact that we're lacking that is just kind of a bummer for Denver. But these options, I think, could be a turning point for us, hopefully.
I think so. So if you're listening to this and you know you're up late on the weekends, just go visit one of these places. You don't have to dive in too much, but just give them some business so that people can be like, you know what, this is a worthwhile idea. Especially right now. During the summer is the perfect time to do this. Maybe some of these things launching in the wintertime, it wasn't just the right time where people are like, I don't know what I'm doing at 3 a.m. on a cold wintry night. But let's get the summer going. Let's get these people some boost. Let's make people want to do this all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I'm even thinking a place like Steuben's or Ace
No,
Eaton Serve.
exactly.
If they were open till like 4 a.m., I would be there in a heartbeat.
Exactly.
Because their menus are already kind of perfect for that. And maybe they do a slim down menu, but they have nice patios and like all these things that, I don't know, you're just looking for after the bar. Like even, or pizza. Like I like Atomic Cowboy's open till 2, which is cool. But like if they were open till 3 or 4, I wouldn't be complaining.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Well, listeners, if you have any other recommendations that we missed, I combed the internet, but I know there's probably places that we missed. Give us a call on the Late Night Eats hotline, 720-500-5418. Let us know what your go-to is or what your secret is and what you hope to see from Denver's dining scene after midnight. Keith Garcia, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Bree.
After we recorded this episode, we reached out to Alex Barakis, Pete's grandson and the current owner and operator of Pete's Kitchen. He told us that he's heard really good things about Little India's experiment in staying open 24/7, and that it soon might be time for Pete's to go 24/7 during the week, too. He said he's putting out feelers to see if folks would be interested. So if you're a late night diner, now's the time to let Alex and the gang at Pete's know how you feel. Hey, thanks so much for listening and caring about CityCast Denver. If you're a new listener, welcome, and I hope you enjoyed the show. If you've been with us for a while, you rule. And you know how much work we put into making this engaging and informative show every weekday morning. So if you want to help keep us around and going strong for years to come, the best way to do that is by becoming a member of CityCast Denver today. Join now for as little as $8 a month at membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. And we'll give you an ad-free podcast feed just to say thanks. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a minute to tell your favorite diner waitress about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See ya. Oh, Tuna Town, the lunchroom.